Howdy ho. Welcome back to the best podcast on the planet. We
The
have
best.
so many viewers, listeners. I won't tell you how many, but if you're one of the listeners, reach out to us. Let us know. I'm surprised we have even any,
10 listeners.
other than my mommy and my daddy. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mark's mom. Hi, Mark's dad.
They said hi. So yeah, shout out to y'all. Um, who do I start with? JP.
Start with me this week. No, start with me. You started with JP last week.
Josiah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mark.
Great.
How are you, Mark?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. JP, how are you?
I'm doing great. I feel like I'm nearing the end of this semester of college, and I'm just like happy to get all my work done and hopefully I get some good grades and it all works out.
I feel that.
Yeah, dude, this semester's gone by so quick. It's kind of awesome.
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, yeah.
I'm excited to get back though.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to do all online next semester just because I don't want to have to go in.
Yeah, with
So.
COVID being the way it has really thrown a wrench in college experience for sure.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Kind of pain in the butt.
I ain't stressing though. I ain't stressing.
Yeah, we're just
So-
vibing.
This episode, I don't even know what to call it. We got a mix of stuff. We got some stories, not from ourselves.
Some role models.
Got some role models.
Some
We got some
motivation.
advice. We got some spiritual stuff going on, but
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be
And it's
so
really-
unexpected, but you guys are gonna be like, "Whoa, that's crazy." So we'll start off with the usual goals. How are y'all doing on your goals?
JP, you go first.
Um,
Run you under the bus.
honestly, just like last week, I feel like I'm doing good with everything except for reading, and it's like I've been reading, but just not as much as I need to
Mhm.
like finish my book on like what your guys' timetables are. I'm probably gonna like
Mhm.
finish my book. I don't even know. I might finish it in the next week, but like it's just I'm reading at a quite slow pace just because it is a lot.
Yeah.
I find myself drifting off into my own thoughts, and then I have to go back and read
Yeah.
whatever. And
I feel that.
That
yeah.
was my book,
takes me
my
a while.
first book. But
But
I
it's not
kind
really
of
helpful. I feel like I forget my own thoughts, so I don't want to like take forever. But I also
Yeah.
kind of want to like write down some of my thoughts that I have while I'm reading.
Mhm.
But then that's like way too complicated, I feel. So I'm gonna need to find a balance for that. But other than that, like all my other goals been pretty
Yeah.
good.
Dope.
What helps me with that is like I'll read out loud, not necessarily like the voice I'm talking with right now, but kind of like a whisper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kind of like it helps me focus on the book more instead of like sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, this would be so much fun to do today. Like,
Good tips and tricks.
JP, I
Yeah.
think you just need like a novel, not like an informational book,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can blur through now. Yeah.
because
Good
that
conversation.
was me with my first book. I didn't even finish it because it was just slow and hard to read. But I got a new book called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey's new book, and I got it yesterday, Sunday at I got home or back to where I was at like 2. I finished an essay, and within I think it was midnight was when I stopped reading. I already finished half the book, so
Very cool.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Just how your goals doing, man?
Honestly, I think my goals are going great. I have kind of like been slacking on reading, but like I've read a lot recently,
yeah,
so I'm still like on track.
cool.
I'm like halfway through The Help and halfway through Screw Tape Letters, so I kind of want to finish one of them this week. So I might just like hop on the ground
Sorry.
and just read like a bunch. But yeah, I worked this weekend, so making money. That was
Making
great.
money.
Yeah,
Got to
been
see.
working out a lot.
Yeah, I know you haven't been slacking out on working out. Me
Yeah.
and Mark saw Josiah for the first time in
was,
person this weekend, and good lord, this man is swole.
He is full.
Yeah, it's nice to reap the benefits. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
'Cause, like you don't necessarily see the improvements
other people do.
Because it's your own body, you don't necessarily like see it. Like you look at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
scale and you're like, wow, I weigh more.
The past 2 months, I think it's the 16th of every month I've taken, or of September and October, I took a picture of my body in the mirror, and I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm just gonna keep doing that
I should have done
because
that.
I don't
really
really, I don't see the progress either. But then I look at those and I'm like, there's a little progress there. It's not a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but
It's better than that. But yeah, Mark, you were so tall. I
Thank
swear
you.
I did not remember you being that tall.
that was funny.
Damn.
I was like, Mark, how are you so tall? I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I don't work out twice a day. I was like, Josiah, you may work out twice a day, but it's probably making you
but I'm
shrink.
not 6'3". Like
It's making you shrink.
Brad.
I actually did
but
work
yeah,
out
I've
twice a day.
also,
But
yeah. But I've been super motivated like with Period E the past couple days. Like last
Cool.
week I'd say I struggled a decent amount, but I finally got like the restrictions set up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Did that
JP.
help a lot?
Got all that set. So I'm
Okay.
set there.
Rocking and rolling. Let's go.
I'm
Mark,
doing really well right now.
quick
yeah.
update on goals, man.
I'm doing so. I was dog sitting Thursday to Sunday,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
usually when I dog sit, it's like I don't know what it is, but my mindset is just like I have no motivation at all other than to like squeak by with school. So
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I struggled there, but I think my one goal was like, so long as I don't carry that over to when I get back, then I'll be okay. And I definitely didn't. Like I got home and I haven't wasted like a single minute, pretty much. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
Something very interesting about that, yeah. I found when I came home after this weekend that like the total environment change was different for me and like a motivating factor, I guess. Because like while I was at my house this weekend, it was just kind of like I didn't back to my dorm in Delongo. It was just like a total mood switch.
mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, boys.
All right. So shall we get into whatever the topic is?
Ooh, wait, one other
Oh,
thing.
oh.
Do you guys have any like new goals that you're thinking about maybe?
I don't know. One thing I do want to mention is, so I'll get into it later because it's kind of goes in like hand in hand with a story that I read about Matthew McConaughey. But I want to go to the Netherlands and live with my grandpa so bad for like 2 months. Like I want to go so bad over the summer.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be
Pretty sick.
Like that would
Fun
just
trip.
be like I'd have no distractions. I'd just be grinding, doing like oh, it'd be so much fun, dude. But that's
Yeah.
that's something that's on my mind now a lot. So,
Yeah, I think that's good to think about. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, that's great. JP, you got anything on your mind at all?
No, nothing in specific.
Josiah?
I don't know. I just feel motivated to do more. I don't
Yeah,
know
me
why.
too. I got my job
Day.
at Target.
Hey,
I start the 14th of November. That's my orientation day. So I don't know what that really means, but
you get paid for orientation. It's
Cool.
just teaches you how to do everything.
cool. Yeah. So that's that. Just gonna start
All
making
right.
more money finally.
Okay, this week's topic, what are we calling it? I think we should call it like role models or just
I was
like
gonna say role models with a Z, like that one song.
Mhm.
That one song. So
Yeah.
You mean no role models?
no, it's
What's
role
role
models. No, you know what I mean though.
Are you sure?
Hmm?
Interesting.
What?
I'm not finding it on Spotify.
I hate you, Jake.
I don't think I can spell role models anyways though, so
I hate you.
okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start.
Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead,
gonna
JP.
it's about someone very near and dear to my heart.
Hmm.
So I guess one of my biggest role models has to be my grandfather, or I call him Grandpa. So my grandpa, I mentioned him. What did I mention? Which episode did I mention him on?
I don't
It was
remember. Hold on.
it was the social media one where I was talking about how different
Oh,
the
yeah.
generations have changed.
Yeah.
And I mentioned a bit of his backstory, but quick update. Quick flashback rather.
Flash.
My grandfather grew up, and his father died when he was 4, and then it was my great grandmother, his mother, just her to raise 5 kids, and he became homeless at some point. They had to live in a tent in like the middle of winter, like next to the river, and like he tells stories about how they would like take turns waking up and brushing the snow off the tent because like the tent would sag in and it'd like touch your face and wake you up or whatever. Like just like crazy stuff like every single night. That's what they have to go through.
Yeah.
And then like at 14, my grandpa just like left home, went to go work, didn't graduate high school. He did a lot of things in his life. He was a firefighter at some point. He played baseball while he was in the army. Did a lot of things.
Sick.
So I think my grandfather has an inspirational story just because it kind of exemplifies the classic American dream about if you work hard, then you'll make it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he did. I mean, he really pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He didn't really have any help whatsoever. I mean, I'm so privileged to have family members that help me out, give me job opportunities, and my family for the most part is pretty wealthy, so there's just assets that my family has to like support each other, I guess, right? But I mean, with him, he always tells the story about how he was working at this place called the Tuttle House, which is like a Waffle House, I guess.
It's called
Like the
Huddle
Huddle.
House, actually.
No, it's literally was called the Tuttle House.
That's
I don't know why. They call it that.
It's an
weird.
off-brand.
Yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
off-brand. But like he always tells this story about like how he would just like work, and the only reason why he worked that crappy job is because like he never got to eat steak ever in his life, and they had like a 5-cent steak because like this is like way back in time when steaks cost 5 cents, and like the only reason why he worked a crappy job is because every single day he got a free meal and he got to like eat steak every day, and it was like the best experience of his life. He said that he like because like he just never had like that good food growing up.
Yeah. Huh.
And along with a bunch of other depressing stories that he tells around Christmas time of his family being poor that we've heard for 1,000 times, it has made my grandfather a different person. It's easy to see. I mean, on Christmas, one reason why he's my role model, not just because he works hard, but because he shares the love and his wealth with his family, or just really anyone. I mean, my dad, he always tells a story about how he would never let any kid go hungry. I mean, he coached my dad and my uncle's baseball teams, and I mean, he saw the poor kids around the neighborhood and was like, "Hey, if y'all need some food, come over to the Burkhalter's house," because he used to be that poor kid who didn't have anything to eat, and he never let a kid go hungry in the neighborhood. I mean, he's just the kind of guy that would always be looking out for everyone and making sure everyone on the cul-de-sac, was doing all right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something that I feel like we're missing in today's culture. There's just not many support structures like that. Like you don't look at your neighborhood as a support structure anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't look, I mean, even some people don't have families as support structures anymore. And I'm so thankful to have a family that is a support structure for me, but a lot of people don't even have that. And it's just like, that's what I want to create and exemplify. Like when I have a family, I want to be that guy that people can go to for help, like my grandfather was.
Yeah.
Because even when he was poor in the beginning of his life, and then he got some money because he worked hard and built his own business and invested his money smartly. Once he got money, he wasn't stingy with it. He shared it with people because he understood, like, the struggle of, his fellow common man, that, times are tough for people.
Yeah.
And like, I don't ever want to get to a point where like money means so much that I can't share it and be generous.
Is he the Howard?
No.
Okay.
No, that's the other side of the family. This is my dad's side of the family, my dad's father.
Gotcha.
So like, that's one of the main reasons why I admire my grandpa. Is just like, he had so many reasons to fail and he kept moving, like always kept moving forward. And even when he did make it, he didn't forget where he came from, and like he just always helped out everyone.
Yeah.
And another reason why I love my grandfather is his extreme love for family. I mean, he talks about it every Christmas Eve. Like, it is his and my grandma's favorite time of the year is when like we come over and the whole family's there for Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve morning when we have Christmas celebration, just because like that is something that never goes away. And like the support, like it goes back to that support structure, to where like he has created that support structure, and it's kind of just like a pack. I feel like people lose that sense of like packhood with your family, and like that mentality of like we're a unit. Like people might have that with their immediate family, but like maybe not cousins, or like I'm blessed
Yeah.
to know all my cousins. My cousins, basically most of them live in the state of Georgia. So
Mhm.
That's
I
pretty
don't
cool.
know. I just want to, like, when I like grow older and have a family, I want to exemplify it off the values that he's had, to where you work hard, but you're generous, you help out your family members, and you always, for better or for worse, always stick with your family. Because my family's been through some tough times, and people in my family have made some bad choices, but he's
Yeah.
always stuck by them, and he's been loyal
Mhm.
because he understands how important family is. And I feel like seeing him handle that was confusing at first, but his loyalty is something that is admirable.
Yeah. So, piggybacking off of that, so my my family's weird, man. So my dad's family, like, he's really close with his family, but they all live in Holland, so it's like obviously hard to
Mhm.
communicate with them.
Long
Um,
distance.
what?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought you said something. But yeah, it's like hard to communicate with them. But like seeing my stepmom's family, like they all live here, and everyone's like really close.
Yeah.
So it's like a different. It's I didn't. It's not like I didn't see the value of family before, but now
Mhm.
like getting to, I have like even more family, and now it's like they're here. They're not like
You can see it
that. Yeah,
firsthand.
yeah, exactly. They're not thousands of miles away. They're here. It's kind of like it's a different. It's the same in a way because it's like it's not like they're not like there for me if they're thousands of miles away, but they're here. So it's like it's just two different, situations, I guess. But I get to see like
Yeah.
the value of family firsthand
Yeah.
rather than secondhand. So I don't know. That's dope, though, JP.
Well, it's just like, I don't know, just like I was thinking about like the future, like obviously long-term future, and like where, like, when I have a family, like what values like would I want to have towards that. And like, if there's one thing that I've taken away from my experience with my family members, and especially like the way my grandpa is, like, the patriarch of the family, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is just
Mhm.
always keeping family close and always supporting your family members no matter what, because it's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
didn't mention my mom's side, and I know my mom's probably listening, and she's gonna like, she probably knows why, but there's a lot of chaos on that side.
Yeah, I mean, like
Drama.
that, and that's the thing, is like it's not like my family's perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
like my dad's side of the family has had a lot more, I guess what you would call drama. But my grandfather and the way he's handled it, I mean,
Yeah.
some people don't like the way he's handled it, but I think it's been interesting just the way that he's stuck with family because it's so important to him, and he's
Yeah.
kept to his
Mhm.
values. And I feel like keeping to your values is important, just because
Yeah.
100%.
he understands the value of family, and I feel like I want to also in turn have his strength to see that as well, because I'm sure it's hard for him sometimes to make the decisions he does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
now is such a good time to start that like foundation that you want to have for later in life.
Yeah.
Like if you build this strong foundation for yourself now rather than like after college,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have
Yeah.
those extra couple of years to first of all continue your foundation for yourself, but also for your family and
And to
you
know
know.
what you want,
Yeah, exactly.
like in your family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also important because it'll attract somebody that wants to have a family that you also
Yeah.
Yeah.
have
I mean,
family
having the
values.
same
you
kind of
have.
values that
Mhm.
you would want to have in a family is obviously important.
Yeah.
For whoever you want to date or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't want to get in there and be like, I
Mhm.
want 7 kids. I don't want kids.
Yeah.
Very- very
Maybe you
vague
should
example.
marry someone. Yeah.
Settle halfway, get 3.5.
True.
That poor half a kid.
I know.
Yeah, for real. It's tragic.
Yeah. Do you have any more role models, JP?
I mean, we can
Not
switch
really.
off. We can.
No Keanu Reeves.
No, that's something interesting. Is like I've never like I mean, I take bits and pieces of like what celebrities say that I
Yeah.
find inspiring,
Mhm.
but it's not like I
feel
really have
that.
ever idolized a
Yeah, me
specific figure.
neither. But I went
I feel that.
I kind of so I took so two of my people are Kevin Hart and Matthew McConaughey.
Mm-hmm.
I love
But
Matthew McConaughey.
oh, he's an awesome person, man. But Kevin Hart, so started I the start of my whole motivational like phase that I'm in started with
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart's second podcast with Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off slow. I thought it was fast, but now like seeing where I am now, it's like whoa, things have sped up quite a
Changed quite
bit.
rapidly.
But it started with like my mindset started with that Kevin Hart podcast because
Mm-hmm.
he like I went at that podcast thinking like, oh, this is gonna be hilarious, because it's Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But then
That is
Yeah.
exactly the mindset.
he
Yeah.
got so real. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, he's a normal
Yeah.
person. So you kind of like, I don't know. It's just he got so like motivational, and I was like, I just felt I don't know. So I think it started. There's someone that goes in timestamps of like every Joe Rogan episode, so I got to like skip through this because I listened to it again to get some information on it.
Oh, bless that person.
I
The
know,
person
it's
who goes
incredible.
through the comment section and like, dude, that person is goated. I know
Mhm.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing that really got me was when like the first time in his career where he felt that like that drive to be like I don't even know successful, to keep working at his
Like
comedy
passionate.
career, his passion. He had that first like time he ever felt energetic in his career was at Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam. I don't know what the hell
Shaq.
that is, but so he went into it like not really prepared because he didn't think it would be that big of a deal because he wasn't like, whatever. I didn't really listen to it that part that much, but like going into it, he wasn't prepared, but then all of a sudden he had this like name for himself after it, and he was like,
Yeah.
okay, like this is it. This is where it starts. Like keep going, don't stop, kind of thing. So,
Mm.
so my takeaway from that was like moments that may seem like minimal can end up being such a important moment in your life. So be prepared for anything and everything that life hands to you, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you think you found any of those moments, Mark?
I
Or
what?
just like little things that created momentum for you?
I can't think of one right now. But I'm thinking like for another mindset to have, another way to look at life is like just be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
And I think
And
I can't
don't
think
take
of
the little things for advantage.
Yeah. I can't think of anything like in my life. I mean, maybe that podcast is just a little thing.
Yeah, like maybe paradoxical, kind of like that podcast was one of those moments.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
maybe.
Or even like maybe going to Inside Out for the first time
Yeah.
or something like that. Because I think it's hard to think of the things that impacted you the most, and
Yeah.
I think it's easier to remember the ones that you missed.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel.
Very wise words there, Tristan.
So like an
Very
example of that
wise.
would be like one thing I want to do is be like more outgoing in public. So just like kind of like smiling, just being generous, like looking out for other people. And like JP said, like his grandfather would talk to the less fortunate like neighbors and give them money or whatever, or feed them, and just kind of like helping people out that way. But like you never really remember the times that you did it, but you remember the times that you don't.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because it eats at you, like you wish you had done something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example that happened last week. So I was driving to go dog sit, and it was the weirdest thing. So on Buford Dam, they had like a blockade where there were like at least 20, 25 cops there. And they were
Yeah.
like checking they were checking everyone's IDs, and they were like, I said, "What's this all for?" to the officer, and he said, he said, "Just to make sure no one's speeding or texting while driving." I'm like, "Okay, that's horseshit." I didn't say that, but I was like, "Okay, that's horseshit." Like that's not true at all.
Yeah,
But like
they can't pull you over for that.
yeah, I
Like,
wanted
they
to
track your
ask
license for that.
I wanted to ask like what the real reason is, but I just didn't. I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
kept driving. I was thinking, I was like, man, I should have just like, I should have
Mhm.
kept talking and asked him, and maybe I would have gotten something. But
Yeah.
just like those
An
little
example
moments.
for me that happened. It literally happened like in 10th grade that I still remember. Is there
Uh-huh.
was this pregnant lady walking out of Target, and she was just carrying a lot of groceries. She didn't have like a shopping cart,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a lot of stuff, and I was like pretty impressed that she could carry all of that. And I like feel like I should have went up to her and been like, "Yo, you need some help with that?"
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Maybe she didn't want you to get close because of the coronavirus. But I don't know.
That was
Yeah,
like
back,
I
back
know.
in
three years,
I'm just
4 or
kidding.
5 years ago.
I'm joking, dude. I'm joking. Nah,
Yeah.
I feel that. Another one was we were at the park and we saw a dog that's just like my stepmom's, and we were like, we keep regretting it. Like we should have gone up to her and asked her, like, or and like talked to her. Like it was literally like the same exact thing. But I don't know. We just didn't go up to her.
yeah, it's
Just like
weird
little
how
moments where you just
social
should talk.
anxiety stops
Yeah.
you from doing things.
Yeah.
What's so shout out Kevin Hart for the wise advice of just like getting motivated and like those
Mhm.
little like trying to find those little moments. But like, what else
Mhm.
you got, Mark?
Hmm.
So another Kevin Hart thing. He said, let me find the quote. He said, "What do you talk like? What's the interesting side of your conversation? Like your story, your journey. If it's just like, if your path through your life is just like, oh, I took the highway, got off at the exit, and the answers are right there for me, you know."
Mm-hmm.
So for example, like you get out of you go to college, you do what everyone else does in college, you get out, you start to get a job, you work your way up in the ranks, like blah 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 blah. You get a house eventually, like just like what's your story at that point? Like there's no story. You're just an
Mm-hmm.
average person.
Yeah.
So he kind
It's
of
kind of not worth the journey to
yeah.
get to the destination. The journey wasn't any fun.
The journey wasn't fun. It wasn't even like not even that. It wasn't like
It wasn't a journey.
it wasn't difficult. Like it was just
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
you knew your path.
There was no challenge.
You had help along the way, and here you are, doing well for yourself, but like what, there's nothing. So I'm thinking with what we're doing now, if we can, like, I swear, if we can do this for 4 years, not even the podcast, just like the accountability, the keep
Yeah.
grinding kind of thing, we
Mm-hmm.
are going to be like
Mhm.
20 steps ahead of everyone else in college.
Yeah.
Like
It's gonna be great.
I know, and I'm so excited. Like, oh, I don't know. It was just like, this is part of the journey, This is the start of the journey, actually.
This will be a story to tell,
Mm-hmm.
an adventure.
Yeah.
Well, like it's something that I was thinking about, and it's just like, why? Like, what else better do I have to do? Like,
Yeah,
why
I
not
know.
aim for like the highest possible good? Like the video I sent the other day about the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, it was explaining like what's going to create meaning in your life is like the fact that you're aiming for those like the highest possible good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
it might not be the easiest path or the path that's going to create the most immediate happiness, but that self-sacrifice is going to create the most long-term happiness in the long term, and it's going to create those meaningful moments in your life rather than just taking the easy route because it's the safest route.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've always been kind of drawn to that. Like I don't know why, but I've always kind of had a resistance to people like helping me.
Yeah.
That's something my grandpa told me is like, don't ever refuse help from someone, or like don't ever refuse money from someone if they're trying to give you money, just because like he's always like, you want $20 or whatever. Like every single time I see him, he's trying to give like me and my sisters money
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
like and grandpa trying to look out for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we used to like always be polite and be like, no, we don't need money or whatever. Like, oh no, you're generous, but like I don't want to like take advantage or whatever. And he's
Yeah.
like, don't ever like refuse money if someone's offering you something. They're being generous enough to give it to you. They wouldn't be offering it if they didn't want to give it to you,
Yeah.
But I feel like I've always had this like I've always wanted to distance myself from help. I don't know why. Do you guys feel that way? Like
A
as
little
like
bit, yeah.
guys, you try to like distance yourself and like want to prove that you can do it on your own
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
to like add adversity, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
I
like
do,
definitely.
for sure.
because the easy path for me is like asking like family members for jobs and stuff like that. And like I didn't want to do that. Like for the longest time, my mom was like, "Oh, like just go ask one of your uncles for a job or whatever." And I was just like, "No, like I don't want to do that because like that's the easiest path,
Yeah.
you know?"
Mhm.
I just like the easiest path seemed so uninteresting to me. Like I
Yeah, that's
thought for a
fair.
second going into college that I was like, oh, I might just like become a business major and like see whatever job I can have and like maybe I'll end up working for someone like that one of my parents knows. And I was
Yeah.
like, why would I do that? You know?
Yeah.
Why did I have that thought? Like it was such like a cop out thought, like, oh, like this will just be easier, like no more stress.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
I've
know.
had that same feeling because my major's so close. Like it's a part of business, but it's finance. So it's
Mhm.
like a lot of me is thinking like, oh, why don't I just do business? It's close enough, you know. But finance is just like that step further for me.
Yeah.
So I need to just
Mhm.
like stick with that.
It's pushing yourself and like
Mhm.
making it more uncomfortable for yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you would say for yourself that you're aiming towards like a higher point
Yeah.
than just like, you know,
Mhm.
yeah. That's
Well,
good
I should
stuff.
just drop out and we should just do podcasts full time. So I don't know.
True.
That'd be pretty fun.
That would be so much fun. Could you imagine? Start
That'd be
listening.
insane.
Tell everyone about our podcast. I don't know who you are, but tell everyone about our
Well,
podcast.
here's the goal. Here's the goal, Mark. Here's the goal, Mark. Go come full circle, and our podcast gets so big that we can have Kevin Hart on the podcast. How about
Dude, that would
that?
be
Full
awesome, man.
Ooh, that would be pretty amazing.
That'd be incredible. I'm gonna text her right
It's
now.
like,
That's the goal. That's the
I'm
goal.
gonna text her right now.
it's like
Okay.
Joyner Lucas in the song "Will."
Yes.
He
Like
remixed
that's
it
the
with Will
goal.
Smith. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Why not aim for that? You know.
Let's aim for it, man. But like, let's not aim for it by like shouting our podcast out, telling everyone about it. Like, let's just do what we're doing now. We're not telling anyone about. I mean, I'm telling. You know, I told my mom, my dad, my family, but like, I'm not shouting it out. I don't think y'all are either.
Yeah.
And I don't have a
No, I'm
problem
not.
if we do, but like, I don't
Shut
want
up
to do
the
it.
first one, but then
Yeah, yeah,
I
me
was
too.
like,
I
not
don't.
really in the mood.
Yeah, I was like, why don't we just do it? Like, I'm having such a good time doing this.
Yeah, I
And
think
Like
it's great.
being honest as well, there's something risky about, you know, some of the stuff that we're sharing, and like I'm sure like you guys feel the same way. Like there's some people that like if you put it on your Snap story, you wouldn't want them listening to like the
oh,
podcast.
for
Exactly.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if we're being honest,
Yeah.
yeah.
because if like we're being pretty real on the podcast, I'd like to say, right? So like
Yeah.
it's something that like you don't want to do.
Well, I
I don't
think
know
another
why.
problem is
Because, like,
I would
you know
put it
what's
on.
interesting?
Go ahead.
Is like if any single like there's certain people like I don't know like let's say just like give them okay person X like let's say I don't want person X to listen to the podcast because it'd be weird, but like if they came up to me and asked me like questions and like asked me like the same answers I would give on the podcast, like I'd tell them straight up. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't like conceal anything. I feel like
That's weird, yeah. Weird,
maybe I would.
weird concept. I feel like
Yeah,
another
that's
problem is we were like, yeah, we're promoted on Instagram and stuff, and then we deleted Instagram.
yeah,
So
that
it's
was
like,
pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
so it's like,
Yeah.
well,
I have
maybe.
Instagram, like
Shoot yourselves in the foot there.
That's
on
funny, man.
Safari, but yeah.
I literally okay. So funny thing is, what do I get? I get Instagram to like my brother's picture, and like
Mhm.
usually like I would get Instagram Saturday night or Saturday to like keep up with football, and then I'd like
Yeah.
Saturday night would be the one night that I would struggle with it, and I'd stay at like I'd use that to procrastinate, and then I delete it like Sunday night probably. But like
Yeah.
for some reason I felt like there was no. I got on Instagram and I was like, this is stupid. So I deleted it again.
Yeah, I
Like
felt that a lot.
instantly I was like, this is dumb. There's no reason for me to be on here. I didn't find
Mhm.
enjoyment off of being on Instagram. So
Yeah. Well, what I have is I have it set so I can't download apps.
oh yeah.
So if I want to go on Instagram, I have to go on Safari.
Yeah,
and
and
so
that's
it's just
a struggle,
annoying.
yeah.
And the only reason I get on it is to check our generation music, and it just tells me what music releases on Thursday. So
We
That's
have our
also
reasons,
really
man.
the only-
We gotta get information somehow.
I know what songs are dropping because that's how I knew Ian Dior's song came out.
Dude, that song of the week, are we doing it now?
Yeah, we should just do it now.
Okay, song of
But,
the week, everybody. Just how I go ahead.
Okay, I mean, if you insist. So my song of the week, since we're kind of
Ooh, I can
coming
play
out
it
of
now
left
that I think
field
about
here,
it. I wanna play it.
is it's called Tonight by Jaden featuring Ian Dior. Jaden is spelled JXDN. I don't know where that came from, but
Probably his name.
yeah, he sounds a lot like Ian Dior. It's such a good song. It's amazing. It's like a traditional
I
Ian
just
Dior
played
song,
it
so it's
for
kind of
like
like a
2
rock
seconds.
rap kind of vibe. It's so good. I love it.
Josiah,
I
I'm
think it was
mad.
pretty dark song of the week as well,
It
but yeah,
was, but I changed it. I'm mad that we didn't go to his concert.
I'm so mad.
We could have gone
We
for
need to go to the next one.
$12, Josiah.
We're going to the next one.
I make that point
because
so
I'm not
much.
missing out. I'm not missing out on.
No.
I missed out on Juice World. Not missing out on Ian Dior.
Ian Dior's not dying, man. I hope not.
That's what they said about Juice World.
No, I predicted Juice WRLD was gonna die.
Okay, now we're off topic.
Anyways, my song is "So What" by Jaden, JXDN, but it's the acoustic version. So What? The normal one is like it's pretty popular, but this one, so much better. So I'm gonna play a
This
little
one's
bit.
cooler.
My song of the week is "What You Won't Do for Love" by Bobby Caldwell. There you go.
I'm
Thank
about
you.
to play it.
Are we playing a little bit of our song?
I am right now.
I'm gonna play a little bit.
Okay, Mark.
No, I'm playing it on my computer. So
They won't be able to hear your music, Josiah.
yes, yeah. Well, unless he plays it. No. I played it, Josiah. I got you, dog.
You played it.
I got you.
Very cool.
Play
very-
mine. Just play a little bit, like
I
the
did.
first 30
No, I did.
seconds.
Oh no, I did.
Yeah.
Trust me, man.
Yeah,
Trust
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I got you.
I knew that.
All right, so Josiah, hit us with some knowledge, man.
Okay, so I was thinking when we were talking about role models earlier, I honestly had no idea what to say. Like, I don't necessarily look up to anyone except for, I guess, like my dad. He's a pretty cool guy.
Cool.
But when we were
Shout
saying
out
role
Dad.
models, I was thinking more like Matthew McConaughey, Kevin Hart,
Kind of weird.
Keanu Reeves kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think they're role models for me, but they have a lot of wisdom that I take in.
Yeah, very wise, which is a good thing. But so Mark was like, "Oh, just talk about something cool," and so I was like, "You know what? I'm going to think in like a biblical aspect. I haven't thought in a biblical aspect in probably many months, and so the first thing I was thinking of is since our podcast is kind of like accountability." I just looked up some Bible verses just relating to like strength in numbers and accountability. Which is very important with what we're talking about, what we're trying to do. And I won't read all of them. I'll just read like the best ones. And so I think all of you guys know the Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. It says, because we were talking about it the other day, it says
Yeah.
2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone. When he falls, he has not another to lift him up. Just
Yeah.
speaking on that, again, if that one person stumbles, he's not going to be able to get back up. Kind of like relating back to what we were talking about last week, I think, like the brick wall moments. The brick wall moments, like if he hit that and he doesn't get back up, he has no one to motivate him to get through it. Another one, kind of speaking on the same thing, is the Proverbs 27:17, which is iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. Kind of the same concept there.
Yeah.
But one that I thought was cool because it's not necessarily talking about strength in numbers and like a human aspect. It's talking about having strength in numbers with God. So it says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. So it's like you're helping each other to fulfill what God has done for you. And then another one, speaking on like the same topic, it says, cast your burdens on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. And that's kind of saying basically, even when you are by yourself, God can also help you in those situations,
Absolutely.
which is really cool. But then I was like, you know what? I also kind of want to talk about these brick wall moments because I guess it's something that I'm kind of passionate about. We talked about it last week a little bit, but I was just kind of sitting there and I just got kind of like super motivated.
Yeah. Dope, man.
So basically, what a brick wall moment is when you really don't want to do something, you have the choice to either just hit the brick wall and not go through it. And so it's like you're going to the gym, you're working out. You don't want to do that last set. hurting, you can either do that last set, or you can just be like, yeah, I'm good. I already worked out. At least I went to the gym today. So, that's kind of what I was thinking of. And what all like inspired this, because this is something that I've thought about for a while, is I heard this quote. It was in like an inspirational video, and it said, "A year ago from today, you're going to wish you had started a year ago."
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like in 2021 October, I'm gonna wish that I had achieved these goals, but I hadn't started on them, and so I'm just gonna have regret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, good thing is we're starting on them.
Yes, which is great, but I think that's just a like motivation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
no,
when you're in those
absolutely.
moments, just kind of think of that.
Yeah.
Another thing that to kind of like help you get through those moments is you've already come that far. Um, you don't want to like here. Let me rephrase that. It says, "I didn't come this far to only come this far."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so instead of like going to the gym and like half-assing it, you're just kind of like, "Oh, I went to the gym and I completed the entire workout." There's a lot more satisfaction there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So yeah, so like another quote that I think I heard a while ago is kind of relating back to what Mark was saying earlier, is if the journey isn't challenging, the destination won't be rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And so just more motivation to kind of get you through those brick wall moments.
Yeah.
I think that that quote definitely goes back to what we were just talking about. Is like, what's the point? You know, if like it's not hard, then like it's not like rewarding at the end. Like you
Yeah.
just kind of like
Yeah.
are living, and you're just like, oh, like this is like what I've accomplished. But like if it wasn't challenging, if you didn't challenge yourself, then you don't feel like you've really accomplished anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that. And kind of going back to like one of my goals is purity, and the "I didn't come this far to only come this far" mentality is kind of like, let's say I go a week without doing anything, and then at the end of the week I'm feeling kind of tempted. It's almost like I didn't go this entire week just to mess up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I came this far so that I could be strong enough, get further, so I'll be good enough to like push myself harder, and that pushing myself through this brick wall is only going to make me stronger, and then I don't have to restart from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you gain momentum on like trying to get something done, especially like when it comes to the purity thing, like you know how losing that momentum feels, so like you just like it keeps you even more motivated to just like keep it going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I just thought about is I don't feel motivated by like quotes like that. Like
Really?
Josiah, you might. I would assume you do. But like you said those, and I was like, that's true. That's true. That's true. I believe like that's my mentality is what you said.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I don't get my motivation from those. I get them from like seeing all these success stories from people, specific people, especially like celebrities, and hearing them like rather than being above you, hearing them come down to eye level is like, and hearing what they did, that's what motivates me more.
Yeah.
So it's those specific quotes being put into play, not just like it being a quote, if that makes sense.
If I see like a quote online, then honestly, like if I'm reading it, I'm not going to care about it. But like those quotes I heard, and if you go on Spotify and just look up like motivational speeches,
oh yeah,
it has like motivational like music in the background, and the guy's like yelling at you and getting you motivated, so it really like pushes you through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying
I
that
don't know if that affects you, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's like a wrong way to look at it, because it's definitely not. But like my mind just works different, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And so going back to the brick wall moments things, the only way I was sitting there thinking like how to break through these brick walls. And then so like in that moment, don't get focused necessarily on the pain that you're in that moment. Think about what the pain is going to lead to. It's going to lead to something amazing, something that you've been wanting for a while, and that pain is only temporary, and it's only going to make you stronger.
It was last week, right, that we talked about that?
Yeah.
Didn't you say like having people help you along the way is another way to break through that wall?
Second thing, that like those people. So I think it's honestly the most important way to motivate yourself through those brick wall moments
Mm,
is to have people around you that have the same mindset.
yeah.
So those people aren't necessarily going to sit there and be like, "Oh, you got this, you can do it." They're going to motivate you to do it. So they're going to you're going to share your struggles with them, and then they're going to push you through it.
Mm,
So they're not going to let you slack. They're not going to be like, "Oh, better than luck next time." They're going to be like, "Yo, come on, pick it
mm,
up."
yeah.
They're not going to go easy on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like we could be tougher on each other. A little bit
Definitely.
tougher.
That was something that I was definitely thinking about earlier.
Because I don't think we don't push each other, but like I feel like if we were just a little bit, if we turn the knob a little bit more,
Mhm.
it'll be
Yeah.
perfect. Because if we turn it too far, then we're just gonna like hate each other, and I don't want to hate each other. But like
Sure.
if we turn
But I
it,
think that we could definitely motivate each other a little bit
Yeah.
more, and so not letting each other come up with excuses for
Mm-hmm.
things. And so like there's no such thing as being too tired or
yeah,
too hard or
JP,
too
Mister, my
busy or
shoulder
too
hurts. Just kidding.
Huh?
I said JP, Mister, my shoulder hurts. I'm just kidding.
No, dude.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yo. So we're at the gym today, and like, it's not even like I had like this weird thing that happened to my shoulder, and I did all my sets, Mark. So I don't
No,
know
I
what you're
know. That's why I said I'm
talking
kidding, dude.
about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying in that scenario, if it's actually painful, then just go lighter weight with
Mhm.
one arm, of course. The other, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But I think what we need to do as a group is get in the mentality of there is no such thing as too tired, too hard, too busy, or too early, because you can always make time. If it's too hard, you're like in exercising ways, like you can do it, you can push through.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as too tired. Go to bed earlier. Like we need to get more strict on that kind of thing.
I think, but
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
it's not just like saying that we need to do that, need to do this. I think it's how we need to do it. Like, we can continue to say we need to be more strict, and we've done that for the past couple of weeks. We're like, okay, I think we need to, be more tough on each other. We need to talk more, et cetera, et cetera. But we need to have like strategies to do that. That's what we're
Mhm.
lacking.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. It's tough because we all have different schedules. Well,
one thing that helps
relatively
is
different.
just like Snapchatting in that group chat we have
Yeah,
is because
we've
it
definitely picked
creates
that up.
constant communication throughout the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say I'm going to the gym, since like you guys aren't here, I'll snap it and be like, "Hey, I'm going to the gym, guys. Motivate me, make sure I'm pushing through it." Or let's say JP, you're reading. Snap in the group chat and be like, "Hey guys, I'm reading. Check in on me, make sure I've read 10 pages."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
I
that.
think that definitely has helped the group chat, or like talking in the group chat more.
So I think just being more active
Yeah, I think
throughout the day.
so. That's us communicating when we're at our higher points, but I'm thinking when we're at our lower, less motivated points, that's when we struggle. I think we need to like.
I think that's when it falls on each other.
Mhm.
So let's say I want to start waking up at 9 every single morning.
Yeah.
Maybe at like 10, JP, you're like, "Yo, Josiah, what time did you wake up today?"
Or-
And let's say I woke up at 9:30. You could be like, "What the frick, bro? Come on, let's do better."
Or
Yeah.
Or let's say you call me at 9 and make sure I'm
yeah,
up.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of want to wake up. That's a similar time where I want to wake up. So maybe if you wake up at 9, you call me. If I wake up, I mean, obviously we both try to wake
Or I'll
up.
just snap in the group chat and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you better be up, boy."
And if I don't see you
You know what I'm
respond
saying?
in like 5 minutes, then I'm gonna call you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe just do that kind of
But I
thing.
think that the reason accountability exists and why it's effective is because when somebody's at their low, somebody else is going to be at their high.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
that person at their high has to carry everyone with them.
Mhm.
For
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
And not
that was one of
necessarily
the
like
first
do
things I
everything
thought
for
about.
them, but kind of like kick everyone into doing what they need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, motivating others.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some of it. Yeah, I think just like the no excuses is something really important.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. We really have no excuses. Like,
Yeah, because honestly, there is no excuse not to go to the gym.
we have
You
so
could wake
much
up
time
earlier,
right now.
you could go to bed. Yeah.
Like, there's no excuses at all.
Yeah. And I was listening to one of those speeches and it was saying that discipline is honestly one of the most important characteristics to have, because like they're saying discipline to do the hard work when people aren't watching. When you're benching and you only have one rep left, and you could just cheat and not do that one last rep. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I've had that mindset
Or
so much,
say,
but I'm like, just do it.
yeah, yeah, because honestly, like your muscles may be tired, but you're gonna get through it. You'll survive through it. That's
Mhm.
something that I've learned recently. Another thing would be, let's say you're dining hall, and they got some really nice brownies. There's the choice of either going and eating that brownie real quick, or just not eating it at all,
I
eating
know.
something different.
That happened today. I was at QT, like right before the podcast, and I was like, I could, I could eat something right now, and I was
Yeah,
like,
but it's
really
the
tempted.
discipline
Yeah,
part.
I was like, I'm not gonna get anything.
Yeah,
There's no reason for me to. So
yeah.
I
And then
didn't.
there's discipline in like other aspects where it's like academically, so it's necessarily like maybe like cheating on something when you could actually be putting in the work yourself,
Yeah.
or like I was saying, like hitting the snooze button in the morning.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
That
saying?
one's
Because nobody else
tough.
is there.
I remember there was some study like a couple years ago that I read that was like ridiculous how terrible hitting the snooze button is for your mental
Yeah,
health.
because
Like
it
it's one of the
honestly
worst
like
things to do.
destroys your the beginning of the day. It makes you not feel motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's important. And the other last thing I think I wrote down is like when you're all by yourself, having the discipline not to look at the things you shouldn't be looking at.
Mhm.
I think that honestly is the hardest for all of us. I don't necessarily know for you guys, but it's pretty hard for me. But just having the discipline to say, no, I'm not going to do this. I know what I want in my future. I know how
Yeah.
this is going to affect me in my future. And figuring out kind of like what your priorities are, having the discipline to say no.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then
Just
that creates growth that makes you stronger in general.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of had something that I was thinking about. Two things. I'll start off with this one. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a brainstorm. We can maybe throw it away if it's not working. But
Yeah.
like, what is one reason or like maybe one excuse why, or like one lie you would tell yourself, or like one way you would like talk yourself out of like doing something, like when it came to improvement, like you've been trying to do something for a while and like you just like could never get it done.
Oh,
I
I
think
don't
for
know.
me, the first thing that I think of is how I feel in that moment. So one example would be, let's say I'm working out and I'm doing a core workout, and you guys know core workouts are very painful,
awful, yeah.
especially when you're doing like a high rep of something. And
Mhm.
so, one thing that I always do is I would just be like, oh, let me just pause for a second halfway. Let's say I'm doing 30 reps, I'll do 15, just pause for a second, let myself regain like energy. Honestly, what I've realized is that pain doesn't necessarily mean I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so just kind
Yeah.
of pain doesn't necessarily mean that I should stop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I guess that in like excuse terms would be, I'm in pain, I want to stop. So pain would be the excuse.
For me, I think I'll go physical as well. That was what came to my mind. Was so probably it was earlier this year. Start of no, probably the start of like all Corona stuff happened.
Yep.
I had like two visions for where I wanted my body to be, and one was either like super jacked or like in shape, like skinnier than
Mm-hmm.
I am now,
Yeah.
and then eventually
Yeah.
I'll build up muscle. And I was like, the easy one for me, because I hate running. I don't like doing core. So the easy one for me, and I don't, I want to eat unhealthy. The easy one for me was just to like work out, eat a bunch of junk food, and just get big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I mean, the start of this podcast, not even the start, but like what, last week, 2 weeks ago, I was like, I need to get in good shape, not just like
Yeah.
strong. So that
Yeah.
my excuse was just like, I have two routes, and one of them's easier, the other one is better,
Mm-hmm.
and I just went down the
Yeah.
easier one. So
I
started
think
to change
another
that.
one for me, if we go to like the purity side, is like that instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
then also like the mindset of, oh, this is the last time. Like, oh, like
Oh
something
yeah.
that
Oh my God. That used to be me.
this is the last time. Oh, it's not gonna happen anymore. Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I had that
Yeah.
so bad when I was like in high school. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
one more time. That's it.
Well,
One
like
more time. That's it.
last week it was pretty bad for me because I knew that I was gonna go home and then set up restrictions on my phone. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
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 But it was like Monday,
Uh-huh.
and it was like, oh, this is the last time. But I still have like 3 more days, and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
it was the last time like 4 times. Like,
That's something interesting. Something that me and Mark Smuggerfleet was talking about is like one lie that he would tell himself is like, oh, like I deserve this when it came to like the sexual impurity side of things. Like he has a wife, like maybe like if he like was having a bad day or like his wife wasn't around and like he was on business, he's like, oh, like I need this or like I deserve this, I guess, is like what he was talking about. And I feel like that's like what we all do is like, I don't know. It's like we've done good enough or like we're not like a terrible person. We're not bad, so like we can just like do this and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what it comes down to is like what I've had to realize is like realizing those trains of thought and like stopping them right in their tracks is good, but also another good thing is just like focusing on like for me the most positive thing for me and like of like all temptations, whether it's just like sexual impurity or whether it's just like I don't know, like wanting to give up or like not go to the gym that day or whatever, or not wake up or not read my book, is just remember what I'm working towards and like understanding the aspect of self-sacrifice, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, delayed gratification almost.
The delayed gratification and like how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important is to think of the future instead, because again, going you can kind of compare the two, like the sexual impurity and then to the working out, where it's like, what will make me feel good in this moment? But then if
Yeah.
you think about, oh, if I do these 15 more reps, my body's gonna look a lot better
It's
if I
so.
consistently do it.
It's
And
like.
then in the sexual, yeah, you go.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say it's like so hard in our society to like think about the future reward because our society is built to give us that instant satisfaction rather than
Mhm.
give us delayed gratification, you know? Like it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's important why we like delete social media is
Mhm.
to like catch up with people,
yeah. Oh my
not to know everything in that moment.
can I just
I
say
think that's
deleting
really important.
Instagram or deleting everything was like, oh my god, it's so much better
I still have
not being on there.
Snapchat, but
Yeah, I mean I have to talk to people, you know. I
yeah,
have to.
but you just have to.
Nah,
Yeah,
but
I've taken the approach of like if it's like not news in a week then it doesn't matter,
mhm.
kind of. And like I still
That's
get mad over stupid stuff on like Twitter if I'm like on my computer and I see it, but like for the most part I've just like been like in a not care mindset about like everything that's been bothering me, you know, just like
yeah.
not having Twitter on my phone and not having the temptation there is just like so much better.
It's just oh my
Motivate you.
it's
Yeah,
so
I think
healthy,
that's good.
man.
Yeah, so I guess like that's like the biggest thing, like realizing this and like what this has made me realize is like this like whole podcast and doing this with you guys is like trying to find an aim of where you need to go is so important.
Mhm.
And it's like I guess like high school teachers and like the stupid advisement people were right, even though I didn't want them to be. But like remember like freshman year our advisement like teachers were like, oh, you need to set goals for high school and they'd make you
Yeah.
set goals. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is stupid. None of us are going to get these goals done. Because honestly, we didn't really have any motivation to.
Yeah,
We
there's
just
Yeah.
no I don't know. The school system's so messed up, I think. It's like no one has motivation to do any work.
hmm
And if they
Yeah,
do,
it's
it's
really bad.
because it's mainly because their parents force them to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because
It's not
of
something they're passionate about.
and then they end up hating like hard work later in life
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
it's weird.
so
Uh,
it
but
needs to
it's
be
just like
restructured, I think.
realizing that like having an aim and setting towards goals. It's a simple lesson, but like actually implementing that for the first time has been good because like when I tried to set goals in the past, whether it was like for school or whatever, it felt like people were making me set them. But like now, like I want to set them because I feel like it's gonna make me go somewhere.
Mhm.
I don't know. Ooh, another thing I want to talk about. So I know I listened to the Matthew McConaughey podcast with Joe Rogan,
Mhm.
and I know Mark, you listened to it and you're reading his book and like you were gonna talk about him. But like one thing that he mentioned and that you mentioned that you're gonna talk about is like writing down in a journal.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like that's what we're already doing. It's
I
just an internet.
know. Like it's
That's what we're doing right now.
I
Do
listened.
audio.
So I listened.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to that whole podcast, but I listened to the start of it, and like hearing the mindset he had when he was our age is like the same thing we have. You know what I mean? Like it's such a similar mindset. I'm not saying we're all gonna be Matthew McConaughey, but like,
Yeah.
well, maybe JP, but no, but like it's just kind of crazy how he talks about how he
Yeah.
started his like path so young and how far he got
Mhm.
because of it. So about the journal, I was going to talk about that as well. I was going to say this is kind of our journal, but I also want to write down in a journal. Like, could you imagine
Yeah.
36? Like he had, I think it was 36 years. He's had a journal 36 years. He's written in it like every day. That's wild.
I think Gary also has a journal.
And look where he is.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I know. So I have 3 notebooks. They'll have like, some of them have a lot of stuff in it. Well, not a lot, but
Yeah.
I think one of them has like pretty much
Well,
nothing in it. So I'm gonna probably start. Yeah, it has nothing in it. Let's go.
I
Sorry.
got a question, like,
Go ahead.
for you just to think about for journaling, if you want to journal tonight. And so this is something that I wrote down, and I think that kind of all of what I was saying is honestly all of this kind of like boils down to how bad do you want these goals. There's one thing, and then two, it kind of goes back to that question I asked you a while ago. What would your greatest year look like? And
Yeah.
so kind of like thinking about that, just like pause for a minute and just sit there and think and be like, who would be in your life? What kind of people would be in your life? And like, what emotions would you be feeling in that life?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel. Thinking about that right now, I feel like. So, I'm not saying like before the podcast specifically. I wasn't really like, especially senior year, it wasn't like a great year for me. It wasn't even like a good year for me, but I was never really in a bad mood. So I think
Yeah.
my maybe sophomore year I was like in a bad mood a lot because it was kind of like it was almost like the cool thing to do was just to be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So like
Listening to Juice World.
yeah, I mean I still love Juice WRLD, don't get me wrong, but like
I love Juice WRLD.
it was
But
like
yeah.
it was like fun. It was almost fun to be in a bad mood. Like you wanted to be in a bad mood, and now it's like I guess junior year I mean was great at the time. Senior year it was like okay, but I was always in a good mood, and that's kind of like I feel like that's a trait that I have that I think I'll hopefully always have, and if I can just kind of like keep it like if I can stay positive, I'll be able to have all these like goals set, and I'll just always have a good year, unless obviously something goes terribly wrong. But
yeah, like later when you're writing in your journal, just I want you to like literally just think about that. Like, what would your perfect year look like?
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking like I'm talking perfect. So think big, kind of.
Yeah.
Don't let anything out. Don't hold back what you write down.
Yeah, I'll probably write that. Maybe I write that in like on the final page. I write the perfect year and then, or the perfect. Maybe not even year because I don't know how long this is gonna take to fill this up.
But that's just what I was saying. And then even if you want to take that a step further, you could write it down on like a whiteboard or like some like poster or something and put it up somewhere that you will see every day to motivate you to get there.
Yeah.
That's another important thing. And then kind of going back to how you were saying people, I don't know, I just thought of this like right now is people are wanting to be in bad moods all the time. Is let's say you like go to class and there's people there and they're like, oh, I don't want to be here and saying all that. You know how it is
Oh,
when
I
you're
know.
in class. But instead of like sitting there and being like, yeah, I don't want to be here either, like take advantage of those moments and be like, yeah, I want to learn. I want to, even though it's not necessarily my choice to be here, I'm going to take advantage of the situation. And so not having those bad moods, because being in those bad moods aren't going to lead you in a good direction.
I feel like saying in that situation where someone's like, oh, I don't want to be here, you saying, no, I love being here, I want to be here so bad, that's going to make you seem weird. But if you say like, I don't really want to be here either, but just take advantage of the opportunity kind of thing. That's
I think you should be
so
like,
you gotta be
it sucks being here, but there's nothing we can do about it, so we might as well take advantage of the situation. Sure. Make the most out of it.
For sure, man. Good mindset.
Yeah. I also had one last thing, and I know that we've talked about a lot, and I just
Yeah,
kind of thought of
we've
this
gone all
while
over
we're
the
sitting
place,
here.
but it's awesome.
What are we going to take out of what we've talked today?
The
I think the
journal for
biggest
me,
takeaway is just like pushing each other and just like
yeah,
making sure we're
that's it.
like
Yeah.
actually getting our stuff done.
Hmm.
And not being, I think one thing that's important is not necessarily being like scared to say, like, scared of confrontation.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily think that any of us are scared, but just kind of being like, hey, did you do that?
Not even like,
Did you do this?
not even scared, but like being comfortable more than
Yeah.
not
I think the
scared.
more that we do it,
Because I don't think we're
we will
scared
be.
to talk to each other about these things, because obviously
Yeah,
we're doing it. But
we
I
talk
think it's
about
just
everything.
being more comfortable and more talking about it more frequently. So
Yeah.
So journaling, and then
yeah, journaling for me. I also really want to like keep up with everything about all three of us, and like just keep pushing each other.
so keeping each other motivated and pushing each other.
Yeah, but not to the point where we hate each other and don't want to do this. But like, I think
Yeah.
so. One thing that I just thought about was like, if we push each other hard, we maybe like give ourselves a reward for like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what that would be. Like we push each other hard for a
Weekly
week.
reward.
Yeah, like
reward.
yeah. But I don't know what that would be.
Um,
So I mean, I guess we can figure
what's
that out.
something that you really enjoy doing that you don't do
Making
very
money.
often?
Give me money, guys. Give me money. My weekly reward.
Besides that,
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
like, do you
Basketball.
like going to the movies?
Movies. But I don't want to spend money, dude. I'm
You
big
like
on
playing basketball?
yeah, but like we could play basketball whenever. You know what I
But
mean? I don't know.
have it set where like, you can't play basketball until all of that's done.
No. Basketball's good for me.
Not anymore. It's a punishment now.
Oh well, it's a punishment, not a reward. No, but you know what I mean. Like
Something like that.
maybe give
We
ourselves a
could do something
reward.
like once a month.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe we can all
So
go do something.
we go on a
together.
trip,
Yeah.
and if you don't do all your goals, then you get replaced.
Yeah. Exactly. That'd be awesome. Dude. Let's do it.
That'd be horrible. I would hate that so much.
I know.
You're so stupid.
I feel like there would be some lying going on if that
Absolutely.
happened.
Yeah. All right.
We can think of something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But that kind of,
But yeah,
you know, idea, I
I think,
guess.
yeah. I think if we're just willing to surround ourselves with people who aren't going to let us live like in a comfortable area, and just like people that are going to push us
Mm-hmm.
to help us like break down those walls and start living our best life, then
Yeah.
we're going to be grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like later on in life, we're going to be grateful. And so those moments when we're like, hey, we don't want to do it, and Mark's like, well, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I think we're going to end up being grateful for it
Mm-hmm.
because we chose the hard path, not the easy path.
Absolutely.
Not everybody takes that path, but
For sure.
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
like
life that we want to have, and I think we're really committed. I think it's taken us some time, but I think that we all really want this,
mm-hmm.
and I think that we really can do it all.
Yeah.
Good comms, guys. That was a good
comms.
episode.
It was a
Good comms,
episode.
JP. Yeah, I think.
So next week.
So many close it out.
Go ahead.
Please tune in next week. Thank you, everyone who has been listening. If there's anyone listening this far into the episodes, wow, glad to be you. You're my new favorite person, and I'd love to get your name.
Yeah.
Be like, thank you, person with a name. This has been episode 6
Yes.
Something like that.
of the Eternal Everest podcast. We will see you guys later. Bye bye.